Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trekyards. I am Captain Foley.
I am Commander Cookings, and I'm honestly, candorously me.
Are you choosing? To live? Is that what you're saying?
I'm choosing to live with you in this moment, and if you stay with me in this moment, Stuart, then we can use the Baku rings to... No, I'm crossing the streams there. Oh wait, no, that's another reference. Oh no. We're getting a rabbit hole. Oh no. Well, which pill are you going to choose,
Moving
red
on.
or blue, to move on? Oh no.
Just follow that white rabbit.
By Graptar's
Anyway.
Hammer, what an episode. Okay, that's what I also want.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about episode 3 of season 4 of Discovery. This one is called Choose to Live. Which, when I saw the title, I'm like, that sounds familiar. What's that from? Figured it out right away after it started. So, I loved it. I witnessed a miracle. This is actually an episode of Star Trek, and it's great. Followed the thing used before with a ship that is basically an asteroid or a moon that was in TOS, and one of the books as well. I thought it was great. Bringing the Quatmalat back kind of was like, but the way it worked out was really good. Tilly was awesome this episode, finally, thank goodness. Hugh is also very good. And we got the reincorporation of Gray, which was alright, I guess. And Saru was just amazing as well. The whole scene in the Navarian Science Academy was cool. I mean, Stamets was awesome. Book was good. This was just a great episode, and it felt very Star Trek. We got some technobabble. We got some alien life. We got some really cool stuff in this one, and I really enjoyed it. So that's my take on it.
So, I will say, episode 1 had a bit more of a punch to it, but then
It felt Discovery. This didn't feel Discovery.
Sure, yeah. This one is probably an on average better episode than episode 1, but there's no necessary moment of punch, but there's a lot more averagely good, if that makes sense. It maintains a high standard throughout the entire time, which is great. I wasn't at all bored. I was engaged the entire episode, which beats last week's, which definitely had a pacing problem. It had a lot of stories, but they all had some time. I was kind of shocked that we didn't get a single Bryce or any bridge crew, not even a shot, completely separate from it. So they're literally going to lose a credit now, having not been in this episode, you know. But no, it's a good episode. It's definitely one of the most Star Trek ones they've ever made. It really helps that the moon subplot went from just being a we're chasing lady to sci-fi big positive messages. That really helped a lot. And I know you were super unengaged in the trailer when we saw this the cave thing, like, don't care. But the fact they grounded it in some nice sci-fi really elevated that, for sure. The mum was fine. You know, she's not particularly engaging as a character, but I mean, now she's that sort of character, so there's not much you can do with that. You know,
I like her more after this one, though, I gotta say.
well, she fit in the role of what she was doing fine. It was nice to have seen like an elder come in and she was like, come and help because of Burnham, rather than you're the best, you know. But
That being said, she was also bested by the person that took care of her and brought her into the Quatmalat, which I loved. She wasn't, and it didn't take long either. She got her ass handed to her pretty quickly.
yeah, she killed the 3 other people very, 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 very quickly. But then you're right, she did get taken by the lady very, very quickly. So that is true. That's a fair balance there. Saru was minimally used. There'll be more to that character later. It was fine. There's not really much there.
Perfectly Saru, though.
Well, perfectly new Saru. You know, not season 1, not season 2, not season 3, just this new Saru. He suddenly aged 10 years in 5 months. So, Ambassador Saru is nice. A lot of stuff with the Grey Adira stuff. I was really surprised that we've very much rushed their entire storyline from being the possibility of, a hollow existence and that might be a whole season to, oh no, now they exist fully. It's like, that took 41 minutes of screen time over 3 episodes. It's like, done, okay. Like, it almost felt like this was a 3-episode arc of we've kind of lived a big portion of the story, so there's more to the story. Because so much felt like it kind of got, moved very, very quickly into the goalpost, and now we can already see the end zone in closer than we should. Whereas season 3 was all about mystery. And so I'm either the Darren Gray's going to do something really weird and radical and like, oh wow, this is the direction they're going, or it's going to play into the big storylines, they have to thrush through that, or they're going to just have lots of small stories and more like a DS9 where they just kind of have... So I was kind of surprised at how quickly and easy that was. Although it was nice, but the fact that it was burned through means there's going to be more interesting stuff coming on later, narrative-wise. But, it's good for what it was. And I see the Trill guy back. The Trill guy and the president. Good job by them. They did good stuff.
Yeah. Guardian Z. Yeah, one of the best things, obviously, is the opening shot. We get a new ship.
We
the
do
USS
get a new ship.
Credence, which we're going to take a look at some point in a future video. So
I've
check
got the
that
prep.
out.
I've got the stuff. We're going to film it after this. It was lovely to see. The interior less so, but we'll talk about that. But hey, at least they did it, and it's like they invented a new ship for just because. It's like cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no,
You
that
gave
was
up the Trekyards. And it wasn't a season. It wasn't Stuart a season 1 redress kit bash Discovery ship, which it really, given their backstory, back history of reason and stuff, that I was like, isn't that the Shinjo upside down with blue nacelles? Yes, it is, huh? But it wasn't. Good job.
I thought it was a fantastic episode. I really loved the Stamets, the primordial black hole, the DMA, dark matter anomaly, or whatever he calls it.
He's better when he's not just about spores the whole time. He channels random science better than spore stuff. Even though this is not what he's here for, but he's just now a chief engineer or chief scientist, even though he really isn't, but he is. So just
seeing the way he interacted with the Navarians was good. That whole scene was awesome. The way they kind of went for a nap just to focus their minds, and then came out and were like, yeah, none of this temporal or tachyon radiation, so your theory's invalid. Which led to the mind meld. That was great, actually. I don't know how he can see Leto turn around when his memory would be looking at his brother.
Easy. Peripheral vision. He wasn't fully turned around. It's like he was focused on one thing.
Oh, that's fair.
You can still see. Your brain still understands. So that's all it was.
That's fair. That's fine. I'm glad he got some peace out of that anyway. So we won't have the kid facing away from us anymore if he sees him, which I think is great. I don't think he's going to see him anymore.
Well, that's what I mean about it finishing a whole lot of arcs already. It felt like a real strong conclusion, like a real and we're done with this destruction of my entire planet and losing my family storyline, and it's over. It's like, oh, that was quick.
That's where I think Leto is going to come back at some point and be safe for somehow. But yeah.
But it was nice, and we'd never seen a mind meld. We saw it sort of almost first person, so that was nice. I kind of wish, it might come later. You almost get it. It's a hint. I kind of wish the president had a bit more of a emotional response, couldn't contain, because she literally felt everything, and she's never felt that. And you had a sense that she felt it, but I mean, she's such a Vulcan, she was able to keep it back.
Well, you can see it a little on her face when she said, "My condolences would be inadequate." It was the perfect thing to say for a Vulcan.
Yeah,
and
I just want a little bit more.
Think there was just a little hint of it in her eyes that she was taken aback for a second, which I thought was very well played, actually.
I mean, brave of her, because she's they don't necessarily want to feel excessively deep emotions or extra, and to experience that as the president, But there's a lovely little scene, and his acting was fantastic, and just Book stands out as being just one of the better actors of the show, despite not giving that much relative screen time. He definitely stood out. And it was nice how he just wanted to be engaged, because he's still, he's not going to live in this future with a ship that's not as advanced as it is without knowing a lot of science, just not necessarily high-end science. So he's still knowledgeable, so he's still useful, which I'm glad he was there. He wasn't just moping, he was active, and he was good. It was well handled.
Mm-hmm. You wanted to be where the action was, even if it was going on a tachyon hunt. No, it was really well done. Even the dialogue with Stamets, I think, was very well played, so I really enjoyed that.
And the use of the LED wall in that scene was probably its best use so far, because they had the practical inner set, and then outside that was the digital set, and it was a really, you sort of did notice it was weird, but it was, well, of course, on an alien planet. That was a really good balance, I thought, of, it had depth, because there was a lot of real, as all of the eye line was fake, as in the LED wall. I thought that was a really nice, we've got scope, but we're not overusing it, it's just kind of there. That's how you should use that sort of set. So I thought that was nicely done.
The Tilly stuff was great. Tilly is, this is the Tilly that I know and love. Finally back for this episode, kind of the awkwardness and also the excitement, and getting out of her comfort zone, I think, was a great way to take that. But no, I thought her character was, thank God, back to more normal Tilly for this episode, and I really, really enjoyed that. So
yeah, it felt like they've regressed her again back to season 1-ish. It was fine. It was okay. I was more annoyed in the fact that she wasn't the right person for the mission. The justification was, let's put the mission in danger by someone who has zero tactical ability. It should have been, that was the best chance to say, let's bring Bryce, our tactical officer. Let's give him an episode. You're gonna bring him? Tilly, bring the tactical guy. Give him an episode. It felt like, it's like we need the trifecta of Stamets, or the quadfecta of Stamets, Saru, Tilly, and Burnham and just ignore everyone else, despite her not being a logical choice for the mission. And I know she scienced it a bit, but any of them could have scienced what she did in the context of what they did. So she was fine, but it should have been someone else.
I thought it fit perfectly into the story with as soon as I saw Saru walking with Burnham, I'm like, he's going to suggest Tilly for this mission. I just wish that when no phasers was said, she would have said, can you at least let Tilly have one? I promise she won't use it, but she can't use the sword. And there's actually a really bad, on the fight scene on the ship, there's a really bad cut to Tilly's stunt person, which you can clearly see is not Tilly. I disagree. I think it would have been great to see Bryce, Bryce's communications, but whoever the tactical officer would be, Reese, it would have been great to see him as well. Maybe even bring him along and have Tilly stay on the ship, have him go down.
Because she just did, like I said, season 1 Tilly stuff. So her lack of purpose was I guess that's her big storyline for the season. But she just kind of did her normal stuff this week. Didn't necessarily progress the story so much as just talk about it more. It was kind of in between.
Even her conversation with Burnham's mom at the end about paths and how one path ends, and that was great too. The explanation of choose to live. If you find yourself at the end of a Quat Malat sword, you either change the way what you're doing or you're dead. I kind of like that. Actually.
Romulan arrogance for you. Although it did make me laugh that they say no phasers, and it's like the phasers are in the arms. They're replica matter. They're literally. The Quat Malat lady would not know if you have a phaser or not.
Like the handcuffs.
Yeah, so absurd. And as soon as they come in and murder the people, obviously you'd say, well, we're not doing your way because you've just had everyone killed. You've just killed 3 of them and they've killed you. Now I've got phasers. So I was waiting for the moment where the sword's at the mum's neck to pull out a phaser and stun her right there and be like, I said no phasers. Things changed. Like cowboy it. So I was really struck by how stupid that was. Especially if they needed phasers. But it would have made everything a lot easier. But it's like...
Yeah, I think it would have been acceptable to do that, actually, because they did lose the other Quat Malat. So to equal things out, I would say at least give Tilly a phaser or something.
She's not the tactical one, though. I mean, Burnham's do everything.
You don't need to be a tactical officer to shoot a phaser on stun at somebody from a distance, which she could have done multiple times with where she was standing.
Well, that's true.
So,
yeah.
That would have been my compromise. Yes, we were going 1 for 1 on this cooperative venture, but now that your Quat Malat's dead... and I have an inexperienced tactical officer, give her a phaser. I'll still take the sword, was what Burnham should have said.
But I was kind of impressed, actually, how by the book Burnham was. It's really freaking refreshing.
It's great.
She doesn't stand out anywhere as much as she does originally, but it's really freaking refreshing. Because, like I said, in season 1, she would have had the gun and just shot her right out and probably killed her. Like, full-on just murdered her, the other Quat Malat lady. But, like, what? I was trying to save your life. Like, it would have been really Han Solo. But it was like, wow, she didn't. And she was very sciencey and she was very, like, measured and... really refreshing.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing of the alien species as well was so well done. One of those things where it malfunctioned. They got to the planet long ago. It didn't wake up. It was neat, and I love how she kind of gives Tilly a look like, because the Quat Malat says you have as long as it takes to get the engines back online, and they kind of exchange a quick look. So I think Tilly was stalling a tad.
Yeah,
but
100%.
But yeah, to see them. I'll wake up and the ship's going down to the planet and stuff was good. I didn't have any real issues with the storyline or storytelling. Like I said, it felt very Star Trek, and that was great to see from a Discovery episode. So I'm actually I feel good after watching this episode, which usually I can't really say. So.
Yeah, me too. It definitely it's got a far more solid foundation to it than they averagely do. It helps 55 minutes. It helps 3 full stories, each of which are given time. It would have been nice to have a little bit more knowing about the
DMA.
There you go. Yeah. But I still like the braveness of the... Literally every episode, we're failing to know anything. That's in itself really interesting. It's not satisfying, but it's not meant to be. But it's a brave choice narratively. Although and again, these are because it's such a strong episode, there were little things I just didn't like as much. At the end, he talks to Saru and says... you suggest me for today's mission. I thought, wait, so they walked all the way to a random planet and back that was near book system in 1 day at standard warp? It's like, no, you didn't.
Well, it has to be near book system because the anomaly is near book system, and if it's changing direction, then the system is at threat, even though it moves so slow. But still, yes.
And I'm getting a little bit annoyed they just constantly need book ship. Every episode, it's the thing that solves the problem is book ship.
And no name for his ship. It's still called Book's ship. They haven't named it officially, which is
it's Queen's
criminal.
Gambit.
Is it though? Did he say that?
No, I'm just saying it's a Queen's ship because he doesn't own it. His
that would be awesome. The Queen's Gambit is a perfect name for that ship. Good job. You just named it.
Although it's kind of funny they didn't think to be cloaked when they approached the planet because they have cloak, and they could have still found them while cloaked. Like there's no problem.
I love the line from Book though of, "Oh, I see. You love a man up, and then you take his ship."
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a surprisingly balanced episode. But I'm just like I said, I'm so surprised. The pacing just implies that because we've seen all the trailer content now, almost all of it. We've almost resolved half the stuff we set up. Where is it going?
I like that though. I like not knowing, and I like the fact that there could be like so much more stories coming up. So,
but the difference to season 3, where we had it was about exploration and we had satisfying moments of learning. These first 3, they're not satisfying. They're intriguing, but not satisfying because they're all about failure and small things. So it's a very different vibe to season 3. I'm not as excited by this season, but I appreciate the overall vibe. It's very confusing. It's a confusing season. But I like the politics stuff. I like the Grand Inversion stuff. I like the Navarian treaty stuff. Like we have to work politics because there's too much at stake here. This one lady is not worth the Navarre to get pissed at us. Of course she's not. And Vance is like, yeah, well, she's the president, so hey ho.
That was a great analogy with the conductor of the orchestra. I love the way he put that together. That was fantastic.
Well, I kind of wish he had said he was the, composer, or like she was the composer of the music. He was the, person that ran the orchestra. Because like that, him just being a drummer, like he runs Starfleet. She doesn't run Starfleet. So I wish they'd kind of made, because he seems a lot less important.
I think the drum analogy was good because he says he sets the beat and keeps everything, the background going to keep everybody else on task. And that's exactly what a drummer does.
It's close, yeah. But it is. Then he's just one piece, but he's the top piece below her. A small thing, but he definitely had more of a presence. But I just wish he felt a bit more important because he is very important. I'm fine with how they play the roles. It's just and it's great to give the Navarian president a ton of dialogue. She nails it. I'm kind of impressed how not emotionful she's playing her. It's a really fine balance, and she's certainly very quickly becoming one of the better Vulcans of the franchise. In terms of like just nailing the balance. So, well done her.
I mean, it was last episode where her and Saru exchanged a glance, and they kind of had a thing the first time they met. I'd like to see a scene with her and Saru again. It's at this point, I think it's illogical for them not to rejoin the Federation, considering everything.
I think she thought too as well. Like she piped up instantly, "Oh yeah, we'll join at some point." Like she was really like, as much as a Vulcan can be, she was enthusiastic, and I was like, "Oh, cute." The new bar with a Ferengi bartender. So, which does confirm, we'd wondered this, are there actually future crew members now, or is it still the same crew? But there aren't any Morn or Ferengis in their timeline, so now they've got officers, so they did swap crews, and there is, which is great, that's what it should be. But it was kind of like, it was very, like, TNG, like, luxury liner, but like on jazz, sex appeal steroids. It was like how kind of cool bar it is. And then,
it was a very nice cafe, like a nice, it had a, jazz club feel to it almost.
It was real luxury, and then we saw Burnham's, like, now we definitely confirm it's a bedroom, and it's like, this bedroom is the biggest thing you've ever seen. I mean, look at Kirk's quarters on a ship that's newer, relatively speaking, it's like, wow, she got, the president's suite. It was, so those two sets are a bit extremely lavish.
Yeah, well, that could have been part of the refit, honestly.
Well, it has to have been. Yeah, it has to have been.
They took out the turbolift ship caverns, and they expanded the rooms.
Hey, I'll buy that. But they stuck a bit like a jazz club each. Just the art design's a little bit off compared to everything else. But that's, again, neither here nor there, relatively speaking. It's just they didn't quite fit. But I appreciate as well, I said last week that Kolber is now a character who's existing for other characters. But I really appreciated Saru said, "How are you doing?" and said, "Well done" to him. That was like fully on, well, we appreciate, like, no, you are... You mean watch the scene? So that I really thought was very needed and kind of brought him back to having some personal urgency, which is very important because otherwise he's just acting for others' stories.
And still no super clarification. He does say it's hard to be a medical officer and a counselor. He doesn't say chief medical officer.
No,
which I assume that Kolber still isn't.
No,
but I wish we get who's the engineer, who's the chief medical officer, and let's see the engineering room. Like, these are still things we need from Discovery after being in season 4. Like.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure the Black Lady is the CMO, but we never really find out for sure 100%. So it's just kind of like annoying to me.
It's just bizarre. It's just really bizarre.
Anyway, so in my conclusion is fantastic episode of Discovery. It actually feels like Star Trek, which is nice. It kind of lost a lot of the actiony vibes and beats. It felt like it could have been a TNG episode, honestly. So I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the better ones.
So comment down below, guys, what you thought about this episode, and be sure to check out our live reaction video later tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. And check out our review of the USS Credence, a brand new ship, which will be on Saturday. We love our ships. We love talking about them. We love comparing them and doing side-by-side. So if you want to check that out, That'll be tomorrow. And just keep us, make sure you're subscribed, do all that stuff, notified, so you don't miss anything that we do, because we do a lot of cool stuff.
We do. And of course, if you want to support what we do, there are a few great ways. One specific great way, though, is directly, because, it's important. Thanks so much. PayPal, Patreon, joining the channel. Those are all great ways. Or join those lives that I talked about. And super chatting, anything from $1 to 20 to 30 to 50, whatever. It all mounts up, all makes a difference, and helps us and allows us to keep this show going, which we definitely want to. And with you guys' support, we can do. So thank you so much in advance.
That's right. Thank you so much in Admiral Vance. Anyway. Yeah. On that note, on that dad joke, we are out of here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you soon. I am Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Kings. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.